Welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I saw this article today. This come from New Yorker, or the New York Magazine, that Reddit is the website at the end of the internet. It's going to be the last holdout of the old internet. And I don't know if I believe that. I think that Reddit is quite the interesting place, and I think there's some manipulation of numbers going on over there. In fact, we just talked about all the bot traffic that they have at Reddit, and they're talking about their traffic declining because of Google AI search, and I'm wondering if those two things are connected. Our traffic's dropping off a cliff. We have investors. Hurry, fire up the bots. You know?
Yeah, but oh no, we're the last ones. They're just people.
Yeah, we're the last human website. So we'll talk about this because it's interesting. I did yesterday. Well, I didn't do it yesterday, but I posted it yesterday. I did an episode talking about the old internet in the 90s and how I would like for it to come back. But when I'm talking about the old internet of the 90s and early 2000s, I'm definitely not talking about Reddit, or at least not current year Reddit. Maybe Reddit from like 2008 or so. It was actually pretty cool when it first launched, but it's a cesspool. Now, let's be honest. But they're saying it's going to be the last.
All social media is at this point.
Oh, it all is. It all is. So let's talk about this. Before you do it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Again, go out to news.clownfishtv.com if you want to check out that podcast. It is behind the paywall. We got to do what we got to do, guys, because Google is killing all of us. And that's what we talked about. Like, their traffic has been declining, and it is what it is. But they made a deal with Google, so they're ranking above so many other websites. But Google AI is actually pulling incorrect information from Reddit.
Deal with the devil.
They made a deal with the devil. And then Google's turned around. They're like, oh, we're going to Reddit everything, right? Like everything on the internet, we're going to have like a Reddit shell on it that you can leave notes on it, just like Reddit. And it's like, oh my God, seriously.
But everything's Reddit. Reddit isn't.
Yeah, right. Nothing is Reddit. So this is, the website at the end of the internet. Reddit is one of the last thriving islands of the old web. Can it survive AI? It said, it doesn't matter who you are, how you spend your time online, or what you imagine your relationship with the internet to be. However you scroll, wherever you browse, and whatever you want to see on your screens, it probably has happened to you. If you haven't noticed yet, you may be now. Your world has become more Reddit. What?
Huh?
No, most people are jumping ship because Redditors are insane.
I'm trying to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're just talking about how Reddit is still mostly human run.
Yes, and a lot of them are already replacing people and talking about how they're going to replace more and more people with AI, which that's true. But if no one wants to go there, though, it's still not going to make a difference.
Yeah, and they're talking about AI and blah blah blah. I think this is all about trying to get people to go over to Reddit who are anti-AI, but they're using AI on Reddit. They're using they're doing advertising, all kinds of stuff over there. They said. The rise of AI suggests a lot of people are just as happy, if not happier, getting life advice, news, and conversation from a robot that has read a bunch of subreddits as they are chatting with internet strangers themselves. Well, I would actually take my chances with the robot because, again, Redditors are very, very different than what they used to be. They used to be mostly tech nerds, and they were internet savvy, and they didn't get their feelings hurt.
Well, I was going to say,
so easily.
The real people, they're out there leading cancellation attempts and all this other crap. Like, one person was like talking about being a cosplayer, and somebody in the Reddit group didn't like them for whatever reason and kicked them out. Like, just some of these mods on there just really think that they are all that in a bag of chips.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's
like
insane.
Ban happy and censor happy, and it's all their rules. And even if you get people over there, if you don't keep these other people in check, they're not going to stay long.
Yeah, that's just it. But they're talking about how Reddit now is being used to source the internet. So this was so weird about this article. They're like, Reddit's one of the last bastions of human interaction on the internet. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're taking all of that and they're turning it into AI. So aren't you enabling them by posting on
Right,
Reddit.
that's true, because they're scraping you to get information. So it's like I've said before, if AI replaces everyone, all those websites, that's great, except there's nothing for them to scrape to get information from if no one's writing new stuff. And all they're going to do is keep scraping you. So yes, you're just enabling the AI to continue.
Yeah, they said that Reddit was rewarded for offering an alternative to the more boldly growth and ad-driven social media. Well, that's changing. They have investors. They're going to have to do it. It could serve a similar role in the post-Chat GPT world as a refuge for actual human interaction in a sea of generated text. I do, and I talked about this yesterday in the podcast. I said I would like to see more communities like we used to have. I'd like to see more message boards like we used to have. Not fucking Reddit, not current year Reddit.
I just want to know why they're so
garbage.
sure it's all people.
Well,
because it's not.
No, and they said that because they're trained on Reddit, they know how to talk like the bots know how to talk like Redditors.
Weren't there different groups that admitted they were running tests and stuff with bots on Reddit and stuff?
Yeah. And Reddit's actually letting them do it. This is what I don't understand. Like Reddit is letting AI train itself on the platform, but then they're like, Reddit's one of the last bastions of human interaction. I'm like, yeah, but it's all going to be scraped.
But not just that. You don't know if you're still talking to a human or not. But beyond that, even if they're not doing the ad stuff and you're like, oh, they haven't sold out. You're right. They have investors. So what are they going to do? Just wait till everybody else. Everybody goes there thinking that that's real people and then turn all the ads on?
Probably.
That's what I think they're going to do.
Yeah. I think, this is all about the end game for all of these social media platforms is usually to just monetize the hell out of it. Especially if they're public, like Reddit is public now. They're, here's their stock. Now their stock's actually going back up, but it did take a massive nosedive when the CEO said, hey, Google's killing our traffic.
Google. Yeah, that was after they made a deal with Google.
Yes,
that they were the ones teaching Google. And I remember we even talked about that. I'm like, would you want Google to take stuff from Reddit as fact and act like it's the truth about everything? Would you want that? I've been on Reddit. Have you read some of those Ask Me Anythings or Am I the Asshole posts?
I know it's bait. A lot of them are bait. But I just think this is crazy. They said that social media made Reddit make more sense. And I think now the web is kind of dying. Sadly, that evolution helps Reddit make more sense. Reddit in that era Reddit is not social media. Now we're entering this new era where Reddit is not AI. No, Reddit is AI. Reddit is ground zero for all of this shit. Mm-hmm. And it's being trained on
AI.
Why do you think Gemini is like, hey, yeah, Abraham Lincoln, black lesbian in a wheelchair? Sure, because it's more diverse and inclusive because Reddit thinks so.
Yeah, because they made a deal. Google had made a deal with Reddit, and they were using it to train their AIs and stuff. That we talked about that before. And I'm telling you right now, you're talking to people on there you think they're AI. 100%, no question.
Yeah, they just said it's so weird how it's changed. They said the politics of the platform have changed. I remember when it wasn't that political. I remember Reddit.
That was the good old days when everything wasn't political.
Yeah, 2008-ish or so. They said in 2005, Reddit looked a lot like it does now, a list of links on which users could vote up or down. Yes. By 2008, it worked a lot like it does now with comments, subreddits, and etc. Mm-hmm. To a user in 2008, Reddit was legible as a forum of forums. Yes, that's what it was used for. A new and centralized take on the sorts of scattered web communities where people used to spend a lot of time on a much smaller internet. And I think that's what we need to go back to. I think
you talked about in that video.
Yeah, I think we need. I think I'm going to tell you, I'm going to push for segregation. I'm going to tell you, we were better off when we had our own little communities and everybody kind of just would hang out with other people that shared similar interests. We were better off then than having all of us thrown in front of each other in just one big kettle, right? And that's kind of what Reddit started and Facebook started. Normally, there are people on social media that you would never talk to any other time, whether in real life or in your own little message board or whatever. You never would interact with these people. But now, because they get money for engagement, they're actually going to throw you in front of people that you're going to have a diametrically opposed viewpoint just to get a rise out of you to get ad revenue.
Right. And I agree with that. That's what they keep doing. And I think that is why people are so pickled. I think that is why people are just out to attack and to look for a fight everywhere around every corner because you're always waiting to be pounced on because of it. And I think that, the only problem is with the old groups was that, you might not be able to find people with the same interests as easily. That being said, people might have the same interests as you and you never knew who they slept with. You never knew who they voted for. It didn't fucking matter.
No.
We all just like Star Wars here. Okay. We all just like whatever here. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's how it was. It was, I used to hang out on, I used to hang out on some of the Transformers forums and
you had your own comic one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was great because you might only have a couple dozen people on there, but you knew those people. You knew that they were there because they were legitimately interested in the topic and they weren't just there to troll or farm or get you to buy shit or whatever.
What was it? Neon's Banana Shack? Is that what it was?
Oh, shit. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
That's what it was.
That means something very, very different now.
Yeah.
Banana, you say? You've been to my Banana Shack
you
many
want to
times.
steal your banana organs. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You slip on
That's what you're calling that now, the Banana Shack.
The Banana Shack. Hey, maybe you want to go to the Banana Shack?
Ironically, it was about Christian Christian comics. So
it was a weird
you're just making it worse every time you open your mouth. But back then you used to find I'm interested in this, and you'd find groups about it, and then that's how a lot of things I think He-Man.org and all them started out were more like these little groups.
Yeah, they were, and then
it was a lot less, so much less drama. So much less. It was all about what you actually loved and talking about what you collected and sharing information. And it was more about that than it was about you have to pass every purity test to belong here. If you don't like this new show, it's because you're a bigot. It wasn't like that then. Yeah,
they're basically, it just goes on and on. Basically said that there are still human users there, but Reddit has become more corporate because of the stock.
Right. And I'm telling you, there's bots on there. They might not be, I'm not saying Reddit's necessarily putting the bots on there, but don't tell me that a lot of those people in quotes you're interacting with aren't AI.
Now, this is interesting because they blamed Google in part for the traffic decline because they can ask Google and Google give them, one paragraph answer that's taken from Reddit and it may be completely incorrect. I've actually gotten Gemini's given me conflicting answers about the same thing because it's just sourcing from Reddit posts. They said without the massive assist from Google, the past few years of Reddit story would look quite different. An analyst with research firm Garbage Media, yeah, that's exactly what it is, has been tracking upvotes on popular subreddits since Reddit shut off access for most outside tracking tools because they did that whole API thing. Despite the influx of new visitors, this sort of active participation has remained flat, a story of maintaining rather than growing. Without Google's fire hose of visitors, other risks come to the fore. Competition from platforms like Discord, the real-time chat platform, chat bots, etc. So they're basically without Google at this point, Reddit is toast, and Google is already working on a Reddit replacement.
Yeah, basically, you give us your stuff. You let us scrape your stuff to train our AI, and we'll make a deal with you now, and we'll send traffic to you now. But as soon as we have enough stuff we take from you, we'll make another you that we own. We'll wear you like a skin suit, and then you could just fail. Yeah,
they said that Reddit and Wikipedia are probably the websites that provide the most raw training data for AI. But yeah, a lot of people on the platform that are anti-AI. Reddit has plenty of bullshit. A lot of questions.
No.
What?
What? You don't say.
Yeah, it's so weird. I've seen people on Reddit try to get people banned that have their own subreddits because they don't like that particular subreddit. I'm like,
yes.
Well, don't join it. And again, that wouldn't happen if you had your own forum and it was hosted on your own server. You could decide who got to be a member of that forum, who didn't. Back in the day, the serious forum users, the power users, actually had to pay to be on forums, or they would donate to a forum or whatever. And they would do meetups and all this stuff. And now on Reddit, again, you're throwing different groups of people. They're crashing into each other because it's not
they're throwing them into each other. They're not even it's not accidental.
Because it's not like you're just on that particular subreddit and that's it. Some people are, but most people are on multiple subreddits, and then you have people crossing over, whatever. It would have been easier, I think, to just have a message board.
Well, early on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, it wasn't like that. It was just, you would friend your friends, and you'd have your own you just talked to who you wanted to, and it was more curated. And then as time went on and they wanted more money, more engagement, they deliberately will just like pit you against somebody who they know is going to trigger you. You don't follow this person, but they suddenly appear because they know that you're gonna fight like savage in the woods, and especially if you lean a certain way, you're gonna go really all out, and they know that. So that's why it's become the Wild Wild West, but it used to be. I mean, honestly, Discord is, I think, very similar to the old boards because you can just curate who's in there and what you want to talk about.
Yeah, and you can have private Discords and stuff like that, but you're still part of a bigger network. I mean, it was very different when you would actually have your own server and you would have to register just for, like if you sign up for Discord, you can be a member of like, 20, 30 different Discords. But I think in spirit, I think Discord is more like the old message boards.
I think it's more like it in spirit too. To me, that's the most like it I can think of. If you weren't there, you weren't there. If you were, you know what we're talking about. But
how
is there a Discord for your? You need to do Banana Shack Discord.
Oh God, no. Okay, so here's the story. We actually had a Clownfish TV Discord when we first started.
Yeah, we did.
Getting more popular, and we turned it over to the fans because I didn't want to be responsible and I couldn't moderate. And we would go for like 3-4 months without even going to the Discord. And we had like open membership. So anybody basically could go in and sign up or whatever. And there were people that kind of, pointed themselves as mods, and that's fine. But it was like the Wild West. I went in there. I'm like, yeah, there's some shit on here that I don't want to be responsible for. So you guys can have it. Just take our names off of it. And I haven't been over there in probably a year and a half.
I haven't been over there.
I don't know if it's still there. I'll have to, but that's the thing. Like it is a lot of effort to maintain a community like that. But I think in a lot of ways you're better off. And I think what's going to happen is once the dust settles, I almost feel like we're going to have two internets. I almost feel like we're going to have an internet that is a more human internet, that people kind of go back to the old ways of doing things and maybe turn off all the social media. Because I get tired of constantly being bombarded with updates, messages, and worrying about your likes.
If they're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
If corporate who runs everything allows it, because I don't know if they're going to allow it, and they're just going to send their AI bots in anyway, pretend they're people. Hey there, fellow kids.
Well, they're already building it into the computers, right? So it's like you know what I'm saying. So it's going to be built into the computers. But I think people are going to long for the old internet, which is what we talked about, the Neo cities, and it's kind of like that. But Reddit is definitely not it. And this is all about. You get to the very end of the article. This is all about the stock. It's all like, as a shareholder.
Yeah, it always is.
This is how they end it.
It always is.
It says, a shareholder, how you think about growth? And I was like, oh, hallelujah. Because Google keeps turning on, and the AI firms keep turning on the fire hose. Eventually, they're not going to need you anymore, Reddit. They're going to discard you. You're going to be a used tissue. And that is going to be it. Are they the asshole? It could be like, Google. Am I the asshole? I used Reddit for like 5 or 6 years and trained our AI on it and to create chat bots. And yeah, I just, and now they're talking, Reddit's going to beat estimates and all that. And I had people in the comments on another video. I need to log into this. I didn't know well. But people in the comments, when we mentioned Reddit yesterday, they were kind of like, Reddit's doing great. Its stock's doing great. Is that what this is about? Is this all about just like getting as much blood out of Reddit as we can before we just call it a day? Because if Google turns the traffic off, they're done.
I do think there's a lot more real people on Reddit than other places.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I do also think that it's being kept propped up by Google because they have a deal with Google. I also think that there are a lot of AI bots on there pretending to be people.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, because they're getting picked up in the algorithm, because Google ranks Reddit. Weirdly enough, Reddit, Quora, and there are a few other ones, Wikipedia, they get ranked at the top of the search results no matter what it is. And people are going to try to, hitch their wagon to that, I think.
Yeah.
And so they're going
to I do think it's more human than other places. I think a lot of social media is more human than other places, but is it infiltrated with AI? Yes. Don't tell me it's not. I don't buy that for a minute. So.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're saying it's the last bastion of the human internet. I would say go out to NeoCities. I would say go start a message board. Part of me is like, man, I'd love to start just like an old-fashioned message board and just curate who.
Yeah, but you would spend all day doing that. I remember how much time you spent with your banana shack. You played with your banana an awful lot. Let's put it that way.
It is a lot of work, especially if you're maintaining the site yourself. And you look at some of the, like, we used to be really big into the theme park scene, and you look at some of the legacy message boards out there like the Diz and WW Magic, and they've been around for decade, 2 decades, and it's a lot of work to keep. But
they're more like the old internet too.
Yeah.
You can find pockets if you look.
If you look, but I just don't think Reddit's it. But whatever.
Some people, you can like Reddit if you want to like Reddit.
Yeah, I don't care.
There's a lot of things I laugh at on there, but as far as training Google with it, because it's fact-based, I would say that's no.
Yeah, I would say that's not a good idea. All right,
are we gonna wrap this up?
Let's wrap this up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.